Next, I will sand the scale. Scale is blackened oil and burnt steel. I'll sand that off of the blade to give it a nice shiny satin finish. So the next step is to drill the holes through the tang, through the holes that we've already drilled there, and into the wood so that I can pin the wood scales that I've made on. So now that I've drilled that hole, I need to keep it aligned so that I can line it up with the rest of the holes. And I'm going to use some used 1/8 inch drill bits to pin that together so that I can drill the next hole. I'll mark those, and I'll actually pin the scales together with some used drill bits. And then before we attach the scales, we'll use the belt sander to sand that to shape. Now I will epoxy and rivet the scales on. So I have some 5-minute epoxy mixed up, and I'll spread that on the scales. I'll try to get it on there evenly, not too thick because you don't want it to squeeze out through the edges, but you also want plenty so that it will stick. And then I'll use the rivets that I've made. I'll put them into the holes. There we go. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And then I'll tap these rivets through. And then I'll let that dry. So now the epoxy has dried, and I have the scales assembled onto the knife. So now I need to sand them to the profile of the blade so that I have my handle. So now I've finished shaping the handle, but now I need to add curves and contour it so that it fits your hand and doesn't have sharp edges. So now I have rounded off all the corners and made the knife basically be finished. So now all you have to do is sharpen it and finish the handles. If you have a certain type of wood that you really like the way it is, you can just either varnish or oil it as at this stage. However, this wood's pretty light, and so I'm going to stain it with a red oak stain to get it a little darker. Be sure not to get any stain on the wood, on the metal. It's okay if you get a little on the tang, because you'll be you can sand that off later. Try not to get it on the blade. So after you have gotten it to be either stained or oiled or varnished the way you want, then you can stick the blade in a small vise to clamp it so that it can dry without being on a surface.